There's a lot of commercials on Twitch. Is it going to be a problem if I saw it's going to come on in like 10 seconds, right? I can't see it yet, but it says it's about to show. There we go. It says stream starting soon. Will it mess it up if the browser's open? Ooh. I'm on Goldie with Twitch. Yeah. I don't know, talking about blockchain games. Yep.
Get ready to get inspired. This is the Go for the Goldie podcast.
Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, December 8th, 2020. Welcome to another long-awaited edition of the Go for the Goldie podcast. Today we're joined by a Bitcoin baller, a cryptocurrency connoisseur, but most importantly, aka the Birdman. Bird, how you doing, brother?
Hey, Go for the Goldie. Thanks for having me on.
You're
excited to check out Twitch.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the world of Twitch. Welcome to the world of live stream. And not that you need any introduction because you're on DTube, folks. Hop on DTube. This is the next big thing, right?
A real life DTube star.
Yeah, right here. You're laughing now, but wait down the road. You're gonna look back at this and be like, man, that bird knew what he was talking about.
Well, yeah, I've been right with Bitcoin.
So let's get right into it. So first of all, and just for those of you who, let's get a little intro going. So Bird, how would you I don't even know how to describe you to my friends, and you're one of my best friends. So I'll let you introduce yourself.
Yeah, I don't even know where to start, but I guess the name here is Blockchain Games, and that's because I got into Bitcoin a long time ago and kind of turned it into a career, and now I'm real obsessed with blockchain games. That's kind of the next wave, and so I'm hoping Goldie will help me set up my Twitch channel, and we can kind of explore this next wave of blockchain and blockchain games.
So I think a good place to start, I know you said you don't know where to start, and just kind of thinking out loud, I think this is a good spot. There are so many people nowadays that are kind of sitting in a job they don't like, wishing they were pursuing a passion of theirs, right? I mean, there's how many people get stuck in a dead-end job where they're just kind of riding out the weeks to the weekend, kind of living to forget, that famous quote, and I'm going to butcher this, but it's, what most men live lives of quiet desperation, right? Isn't that it? So I feel like you're a great inspiration because talk about, how did you get into Bitcoin? You were in that exact situation, right?
Yeah, well, I guess I found Bitcoin in 2013, and then really became obsessed with it, like going into the winter of 2013, into early 2014. And I had I've always been kind of entrepreneurial. I did commercial real estate right out of college, running around trying to make deals with restaurants, kind of like what you're doing now with the Uber stuff. I'd call a bunch of restaurants and see if they had needs for additional locations, and then try to go make a deal. So I've always been real entrepreneurial, and then I kind of got not stuck, but just worked at New Era at a desk job for a while. And it was kind of the New Era years where, I spent the time learning about Bitcoin and listened to a lot of podcasts and really got kind of obsessed with this cool emerging technology. and then found a social media site that incorporated the Bitcoin technology called Steemit, and really kind of took that to the next level. I got lucky and ended up meeting the CEO at a conference in New York City, and kind of hustled my way into the first business job with the company. And I was able to leave my desk job and go, like, kind of really turn my passion for Bitcoin into a career. And that, took me all over the world and gave me a lot of opportunity, different consulting jobs and stuff.
Yeah, that's so freaking cool, man. I mean, that's something that I've always really admired in you, your ability to just kind of say fuck it to everything that is normal, right? I mean, you're let's face it, your life for the past, you said 13, so about 7 years now, has been one hell of a roller coaster ride. I mean, and just to put in perspective, we said kind of tongue in cheek at the beginning, D-Tube star, live in person, we're going to look back at this someday and, be in awe of like where we were, in 2020 compared to where you'll be in like 25 or 30. Just to put it in perspective, when would you say that you really got into Bitcoin? I know you said 2013. Just give me a month. I have the stocks up right here.
Well, you always kind of dismiss it the first time. So the first time I heard about it, it was this guy, Max Kaiser, who I actually met at one of the conferences. I ran up and shook his hand and told him that, he was the one that introduced me to Bitcoin. I left out the part that he was pumping silver in the silver days. Remember, we got Nick and Herb all horned up about silver.
All horned up.
And so that's our buddy that, like, I think he did what I did with Bitcoin. He bought silver like the day of the top, and then like the day after he bought it, it crashed like 30%. So I heard about Bitcoin the first time from this guy, Max Kaiser, who was like pumping silver for a while. And so as soon as he started talking that he's a Bitcoin millionaire, it sounded stupid and cartoonish, and I kind of dismissed it. And I even stopped watching him for a couple months. And then it kind of crept back in, and I was at work at New Era, and I would do weird things like listen to congressional hearings, or, those were the Snowden days. So I'd always be looking for, stuff to listen to around that. And I remember there was just one random day where they had all the Bitcoin people in front of Congress doing like kind of a congressional testimony about Bitcoin. Congress was exploring it, and this was maybe October, November of 2013, and I listened to that for a couple hours, and I was like, holy smokes, this is radically new, technology that's going to change the whole world. And it's kind of like this new invention, and it's like real serious stuff. And so that was maybe October 2013, and then that went into the bubble.
Pause right there. So let's say October of 2013. Now, looking at this graph on my phone here, I use the Money app, not sponsored, but hey, if you want to give me money. But October of 2013, Bitcoin was at $99.81 per Bitcoin. Okay. Now, obviously, you know this. I'm saying this for the people listening. Bitcoin went through an explosive exponential growth in, it looks like, November of 2013. So you got into it.
That was the month I bought the first $10 I put into Bitcoin. It took me like a month to kind of dive in and like figure it out and take up the courage to like sign up for an account and then wait. And so the first $10 I put into Bitcoin was literally the day of the top.
Now, the top is, we said in October it was about $99, $100. The massive explosion, it looks like it peaked around $900, somewhere in that neighborhood. It got over 1,000. So just over 1,000, and that's 10x. I mean, that's a wild, radical fluctuation, exponential growth. Well, as we sit here on December 8th, 2020 at 7:03 p.m., currently one Bitcoin is equal to $18,231.79. So, like, going back to like what we said kind of tongue in cheek, like, D-Tube, here's a D-Tube star who's, sitting on D-Tube every day posting videos. Well, Imagine if you put $100 into Bitcoin, or you invested and bought a Bitcoin, bought 10 of them in 2000 October of 2013. Think about that. Now I know this is a pretty confusing concept for people. So at its most, because I do want to get into the blockchain games, because you got me hooked on Steam Monsters. We'll get into that. But I think before we can get into that, I think we should kind of, for someone watching, I think it's such a foreign concept for so many people. I mean, I hear you talk about it nonstop when we're together, and I was with you for 7 weeks, very recently. It's still, kind of an abstract idea to me. And, I'm here and really trying to understand, dive in. So how would you describe it at its most basic level, like what cryptocurrency and the blockchain is?
I kind of give up trying to explain it to people just because it's too confusing.
All right, folks. Well, it's been a good show.
I mean, why don't you explain it to me? Like, you more than anyone should kind of know, but it's something like you can't explain to someone. It's like, because you have to first understand that, like, when you start to think about this stuff, you have to start to think about the nature of money. And right there just kind of breaks most people's minds.
So let's do this. I think this would be a good point, because I mean, right there you just said, like, to understand the nature of money. I mean, I have no idea how the freaking Federal Reserve works, or like how they mint money, or like what, you know what I mean? So, but I use money every day, right?
It's not federal, and there's no reserves.
No, but what I'm saying is I use money every day, and I don't understand how that works. So you don't have to understand how blockchain works in order to get involved with it, right? Is that fair to say? Like, I have an account. I'm on D Live. I'm still trying to figure it out, but I mean, I think it's like anything. It's, you kind of just have to get the ball rolling, and you just kind of learn as you go. I mean, you didn't know everything at first, right? You were scared to do it back in 2013. Imagine if you never took that plunge, if you never said, I'm going to open the account. If you just, like, listened to that hearing, those guys on Capitol Hill talking about, blockchain, and you just went, okay, this is confusing, I'm out. But look at yourself now 7 years down the road, and you're, it's your life. It's basically all consuming. So what would be, I guess this would be the question then, screw trying to explain it. Let's talk about how someone would get started on the blockchain. Like, how would you, if I wanted to buy, because, not many people have $18,000 to just buy a Bitcoin with right now. How would I invest in a partial Bitcoin, or like how would I invest, or at least get set up to start trading?
Well, there's some kind of like traditional companies in the industry like Coinbase or Gemini, where they're, good kind of on ramps for people that are just getting started. And now even, PayPal's kind of getting into it. Cash App is real popular. I think you can buy and sell Bitcoin on there.
I actually have. That's why I referenced that when I pulled it up, because that I did actually buy Bitcoin on the Cash App. So, but that's
really?
Kind of like using a third party, right? As opposed to getting your own token, or what's it called? Like your own key, right?
Yeah, your own private key,
yeah.
which is like the password that lets you spend your Bitcoin. It's like your proof of ownership.
Right. So that's always been my perspective on it. Is I feel like the ease of use is pretty difficult. Like the onboarding, you have to really be all in, like, to get on. But I feel like these intermediary companies, it may not be the most efficient way, to buy through Coinbase in terms of like, in terms of the privacy, or in terms of the efficiency of it, but for someone just getting started, I mean, I feel like it's, anyone can understand, because most people use apps like the Cash App, or what's the other one? You said PayPal or Venmo.
PayPal's starting to do it. Yeah, PayPal's I think PayPal helped push the price up. They've been, among some companies buying a lot of Bitcoin recently.
Now, the interesting thing is there's a finite number of Bitcoin, right? That's the whole concept of this, is that it's a finite utility. So there's not utility, but it's not a resource. What's the word I'm looking for? But there's just
scarcity.
Yeah, there's just a definitive number of it. There's no really not inflation, right? I mean, it's more.
Yeah, so there is only going to be 21 million that are ever created, and that's like the core Bitcoin. But kind of to make it more confusing, like all these the Bitcoin's forked into like 20 different competitors where there's only going to be 21 million, but like it forked into different projects. And
So when
so
you say fork, you're referencing like the concept of what the blockchain is, right?
yeah, and
And
so like per the original Bitcoin code, like it's the way it works is it's all open source code, and so it's like an everyone has access to the rules of the game, and you can see that there's only going to be 21 million Bitcoin created, and when you send some Bitcoin to someone else, you can see the proof of your transaction on the blockchain, and that's the blockchain is just like it's a distributed ledger. It's like a distributed database that you can trust, that you can trust and verify that it's going to be accurate and immutable.
good word, immutable there. I don't even know what the hell that means.
But yeah, so that's like in the definition of explaining Bitcoin is you just say an immutable peer-to-peer ledger, and then no one understands what that
Yeah,
means. So how do you?
no, that's right. But it's like anything, man. I really do believe that it's you get into it and then you start exploring it, and just one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you're so far down the road that all of a sudden you're in the position where you're trying to explain it to somebody else.
And my goal is gonna kind of to get you into it, like through games.
Yeah, and I want to get into it through games. I mean, I've taken the steps to I'm streaming to D Live as we speak. It's up
Yeah,
there.
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so we're I'm getting there. I'm trying to learn. I'm also trying to learn Magic. My mind can't frickin' stick on one thing, so I'm like I'm all over the frickin' place.
But let's get into this stuff because it's it's kind of magic in it, and so the games part of it is really just starting to pop off.
Yeah, so let's talk about the games part of it. So so we played a game called Steam Monster. Now, one last thing I think that would probably make sense to talk about before we get into the game stuff is Bitcoin is kind of like, I don't know, I'm going to butcher this, but Bitcoin is kind of, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. So there's a million different kinds of like there's a Dogecoin, there's Steemit, there's Blurt. Like these are all branches of like Bitcoin, right? Or no? Did I just
No, they're all different cryptocurrencies. So once Bitcoin was the first one to kind of what they did essentially is what was invented was digital scarcity, and so all of a sudden, like you could have digital scarcity with the invention of Bitcoin, and then that unleashed just a wave of copies of kind of copycats, and then it started the technology of like the blockchain technology started like fundamentally changing, and people started evolving the concepts, and you got Ethereum.
now
Which is
instead
like
of calling these like they're called projects, right? Like what you would like.
I call them open source software projects, but like you could think of them as like penny stock companies, or like real like Bitcoin's the market cap of Bitcoin's pretty big now. It's like 300 billion,
Jesus.
338 billion.
33.
And then Ethereum is like Bitcoin's smarter cousin, and that's the market cap of that's over 60 billion. The one I worked for, Steemit, for like a brief moment, we hit 1 billion market cap.
That's crazy. Yeah, there are so many stories that you have of your ride, like when we talked about before, like the roller coaster. What I think you should just share one crazy story. Okay, let's do this. What moment? Because I know you had many of them, but just give us one moment where you kind of like took a look around and you were like, "Is this my life right now? Like, what got me here?"
Well, kind of like towards the end of it, because COVID changed it all, and now I can't really travel like that anymore. But it just didn't stop the travel for like at least almost 3 years. And the last kind of most memorable trip was in Singapore, where I was there with the new company, and we were there with like the new Hong Kong team, and everything was VIP, because when you go to these blockchain conferences, everything's just VIP. And we went to the infinity pool kind of bar restaurant on top of that spaceship building, and there was like an hour long elevator like wait to get in there, but like we had blockchain conference passes. So we just got rushed up in like a special elevator and just immediately VIP, just best spot in the whole bar. Like it just was like that nonstop.
That's wild, and to think it all stemmed from you just being bored at work and stumbling across these guys at Capitol Hill just talking about blockchain.
Kind of another funny part was like when I moved to Austin to work at Steemit, and we were hiring a lot of like marketing girls and people that didn't quite know Bitcoin that well, and so my job kind of was to like do lessons in the conference room and like teach blockchain, and I'm just like, am I really getting paid for this? This is kind of crazy.
That is wild, but you know what? That probably helped establish, you know what I mean, your understanding of it. Like when you're teaching it to others, I mean, you're really teaching yourself too. It's like you're reinforcing the knowledge, and you're answering questions that they had. So that was probably really good for you too, to be doing that, to understand where Steemit kind of fit into the whole puzzle of the blockchain wars, you call it.
That was 2020 was the blockchain wars.
Yeah, I remember when the pandemic first started. I mean, we talked about this when I was home, but when all this first hit, and like kind of Zoom parties were the thing to do. We hopped on, and you were just all stressed out. You're like, I haven't slept in 3 days. I'm fighting all the people over in Asia. And we were like, what? Bird, you all right?
Yeah, it's too complicated a story to even get into, but I'm gonna have to, I guess, write the book or make it a Netflix movie.
Well, it'll be a movie. We know that. We know that. That's it's in the works.
In the works.
So
the games. Like talk about Steam Monsters a little bit.
So I'm a big Pokemon fan. So I've been playing Pokemon my whole life, and from the original Game Boy games on. So I think everybody knows what Pokemon is, but there's different variations of the RPG, but at its core, it's a card game. And the different monsters evolve into more powerful monsters, and you take turns drawing a card, and you inflict points. They're like attack points, and that's really the sum of the game. It's if you've played a role-playing game before, or any kind of game like that, they're all pretty similar with their own unique twists, and Pokemon definitely has a giant swath or corner of that market. So Bird, when I first moved to Texas, were you living in Austin when I moved here, or did we miss each other? You lived here for like 6 months, I think.
Yeah. I was in Austin for 6 months, but bouncing around.
Yeah, we never got down to Austin to visit you, but you came up here, and that was when you were with Steemit, and you were really all in on Steam Monsters. And Steam Monsters is basically how I would describe it, and I'm an idiot, but it's basically Pokemon, but on that platform. And he got me hooked. Like I was all in for that period of time, and then like I mentioned earlier, I just a car, and I forgot about it. But it was a lot of fun. It was awesome, and I would like to get into it again. Honestly, I mean, it was fun. But the unique thing about Steam Monsters when you play it is you actually earn Bitcoin, right? Or Steam.
Well, you earn their own cryptocurrency called dark energy crystals, and then you can turn that into Bitcoin. And so for people like to get started, like back when I got started, really just buying Bitcoin or mining Bitcoin or mining these other competitor coins were kind of the thing to do. But now there's so much opportunity where you can play games to earn it. You can go on DTube and all these other platforms to earn crypto. So it's creating lots of value all over the world where you don't have to put your own money in. You can just kind of put your time and effort and your time, talent, and your treasure in.
Your time, talent, and your treasure. Monetize the network. But what?
So I guess I'll just finish that thought. What the Steam Monster thing did is it applied the same concept of digital scarcity to games, and so you can I own a rare Steam Monster card that there's only like 100 of them, and it's a gold foil, but it's really just like a unique ID on a distributed peer-to-peer trustless database. I really own that unique ID, but everyone projects onto the rules of the game like the belief system that, that rare ID is really a rare gold card that you can sell for $300.
So I think the concept, if I'm understanding this right, is like, let's talk money, because let's use analogies, right? Like money is centralized, whereas the blockchain cryptocurrency is a decentralized peer-to-peer. So if you're the equivalent of YouTube in the blockchain world is DTube. So YouTube is obviously, as decentralized as we want to pretend it is. It's the advertisers running YouTube. So the way that you monetize YouTube is you get X amount of views, you become a partner, or become an official, an affiliate, or whatever the hell it is on YouTube, and then the ads are what's paying your channel. You know what I mean? It's not like YouTube's paying you; it's the advertising money that's going into you. Whereas when you're on a decentralized, the equivalent called DTube, which is what we talked about earlier, what you're on, that's a decentralized peer-to-peer. So that, like you said, that belief system is, what. So explain how DTube works. So I think that's a really interesting concept. It's, there's a lot of. Well, go ahead. You explain it, because I've only dabbled in it, but you're obviously, on it a lot more.
So DTube is its own blockchain now, and which is why I'm super excited about it and kind of super, drawn to it. And I want to, help make it bigger, help bring people to it, help bring value to it, because it's its own blockchain. So Bitcoin's its own blockchain. Now DTube is its own blockchain, and DTube comes from the Steemit ecosystem, where it was an app on top of Steemit's blockchain called Steem. And then, Steem kind of went in its own direction and had the whole blockchain war thing. And, it kind of, the whole ecosystem kind of split into multiple little tribes. This stuff is, can get very tribal, where essentially you have like your own little countries, and like each country has its own social rules, and each country has their own money supply. And so on DTube, we have this thing called DTube coin, DTC. And right now, DTube coin, you can trade it for Bitcoin. And so every DTube coin you earn, you could actually sell and trade for Bitcoin. And then the Bitcoin's pretty liquid, and you could move that around, and, it could be in your bank in 10 minutes, and you could go to the grocery store. And so, you don't really have to buy Bitcoin to get started anymore. You can get involved in these other projects and earn Bitcoin. And so DTube right now, you can buy one. Do you want to go to the site and maybe pull it up?
Yeah, that's a little beyond my technical abilities at this point right now, but I don't know if I can do it live.
Do a screen share?
Let's see. Let's not. Let's see what we can do here. Let's try this out. Let's see. I wonder if I can. With the thing. But anyway, describe it. Go ahead.
Well, you can't do a screen share, because I was going to try to screen share something else. Maybe we could just
you screen share it. If you screen share it on Zoom, go to Zoom and screen share.
It says host disabled it, but if I should just walk you around it.
Well, I can, because the way I have it set up. How did I disable it? Share screen. Let's see. Enable the remote control. No, side by side. No.
Well, do you want to make this one a two-parter and maybe do another? Like, let's try to do a screen share one.
Yeah, we'll do a screen share one. Yeah, I like that idea, because right now I just with.
Because this stuff, it'll make a lot more sense if we can do a screen share one, and then we'll try to get the format set up for maybe I can have you on my blockchain games channel.
I like it. I'm in. Yeah, for sure.
So, like you mentioned, you were a Pokemon fan. There's this new one called Axie Infinity, and it's AXE Infinity, AXIE Infinity.
So let me ask you this, because I think this is a demographic that is going to be watching this and interested in what you're saying right now. So, like I was talking about equivalencies, right? Kind of like how YouTube is similar to DTube. That's like kind of that similar platform. Twitch, I think it's Twitch or Facebook gaming or any of the gaming platforms that are on that side of the world. D Live is going to be, I think, that side in the cryptocurrency realm. Is that correct or no?
D Live's almost the same product as Twitch, except you can earn crypto for your live streams.
So what I'm getting at here is I think the people that are going to be, because we're streaming this on Twitch right now, and the people watching this are Twitchers. So Twitch obviously it's a growing platform, especially with the past year. People people like myself have found it because we've nowhere to go, and we hop on here, start streaming, finding unique ways to use it. Originally it was just a gaming platform. You can go on there, you can watch DJs, you can watch artists, you can watch me cycle, you can watch all kinds of stuff. So if I'm a gamer and I want to start streaming to D Live, why would I do that? Why would I want to hop on D Live? What's the point? What's the benefit? What's the, I guess, reasoning for me to want to do that?
Well, I think because you can earn crypto from streaming on D Live. I'm not that familiar with D Live. It's the same format as Twitch, where it's you get the lemons or you can tip people. It's the same. I'm not too native to it, so I've got to learn it.
No, but I mean, the fact that you even just said lemons, like I got on, I stream there, but I don't interact with it whatsoever. I'm just putting content out there to just kind of see what happens. Get in there early, quote unquote. Just try new stuff. But yeah, so I stream simultaneously to it as well. So it's not like you have to choose one or the other. Like I stream to Twitch, I stream to YouTube, I stream to Facebook Gaming, and I stream to D Live. I added it. So that's something to think about. It's imagine if I guess the early adopters are always the ones that are rewarded in the end. It's always consistency, and the best content's always going to rise to the top as well. You still got to put good stuff out there that people are going to be engaged with. But this is something that I think is really interesting. You see the trend, the way. If you want to judge, the success of Bitcoin by its price per Bitcoin, I mean, it's through the roof, and it's only.
And the same kind of thing is going to happen to blockchain games, I think, because there's a couple people on Twitch that are doing it, but it's so new, it's so kind of new and niche and cutting edge, and there's millions and millions of gamers that eventually are just going to come into the blockchain gaming world, and. Mm-hmm. Kind of the part that like we can have fun exploring together is like you mentioned Pokemon and how Steam Monsters, now it's called Splinterlands, is kind of like Pokemon, where you own these digital collectibles that are part of the game. But the thing is, there's another one called Axie Infinity, and I'm seeing it all over, and people are doing a lot of it. And the thing about these games is like you can get grow outrageously wealthy if you find the right game early.
And that's what I was saying. Yeah, early adoption, getting into it, understanding it. So then once people start to come to these blockchain games, you're going to be a pillar of that community. I'm going to watch this guy on D Live playing this game because he knows what he's doing, or she's really good at it, and she seems to have her shit together. So, and that's what I love about. That's why I got into this, with like streaming my biking on Twitch and talking to people that are interesting on YouTube, or I'm sorry, on Twitch, and all the shit that I'm doing, because it's like No Agenda talks about, you know what I mean? It's the network. It's creating a network of people giving their time, talent, and treasure. Like we said before, I love that idea, that concept. I really do. I hate the idea of like. It's the idea of scarcity in terms of production or entertainment, I think is bullshit. I think, if there's 10 people that are streaming on Twitch, there's not a race to be number one. Like all 10 of those people can be successful in their own way, and all 10 of those people can help each other grow. Do you see what I'm saying? I think there's enough of the. I don't think that it used to be. There were, if you were an entertainer, there was no internet. there was none of this, social media. your goal was to get on the Tonight Show, or your goal was to get one of the 3 talk shows, you know what I mean, on network television, and you saw it as this race to the top. Where now, I think, I see this a lot with comedians. I'm really into the world of comedy, and you see comedians doing each other's podcasts and promoting each other, and I see the world changing and shifting to that way. Like my dream would be to just be a full-time content creator. I always tell Jenny, I love making people laugh. I love the idea of just entertaining people. And if I could, like, have people watch me train and, engage with me and watch me race, and, I go to the world championships and people see me race there, and, I'm learning magic tricks and I'm interviewing really cool people, and I can, inspire people, because I'm not a professional, obviously, in blockchain or cryptocurrency or whatever, but, I can maybe find people that are interested in that. They'll watch this, be really interested in what you have to say, and now let's usher them to you, and they'll find you interesting. And, it to me, like we talked about when we were back in Buffalo, and, you're some of your 5 closest peers. Well, I think there's an element of that entertainment-wise as well. You kind of, there's 24 hours in a day. Let's say you sleep for 7 or 8 of them. Those other 16 hours have an effect on your psyche and your well-being. And I just think it's just such ridiculous time wasted to just sit there and watch TV, or just get obsessed with things you can't control. Like, find a passion, find a hobby, find like-minded people that can pull you in that direction of your hobby, and that's, your life's going to be exponentially better for doing things like that. And me and you are super tight. We have very different interests, and what I find you doing is super inspiring, super interesting. I still have no idea, obviously, what you're doing, but I'm trying to.
Well, you're gonna because I'm gonna trick you into understanding it with the games, because you're gonna make so much money that you're gonna have no choice but to understand it.
And you're not even tricking me. I want to learn. It's sometimes learning something new is just so overwhelming, you don't even know where to start. And I think games, for me, because I'm a gamer. I love playing video games. I play Nintendo.
Yeah, and I'm not a gamer. That's why I kind of want, like, a partner to kind of explore some of this stuff.
Yeah,
with.
Yeah, and that's why it's
so
perfect.
When we do the screen share, you'll be able to understand it a little. But one of the games I've been looking into this week is called Axie Infinity. Mm-hmm. It's just like Pokemon, where you have to collect these characters, and then once you have, I think, 3 of them, you can go battle them. And so I was looking earlier this year when the game launched, like, you could buy the little characters for like $1. And now I'm seeing it everywhere. And so I go to look to try to play, and like, one of the cheapest characters is $30. And so just in 6 months, if you were obsessed with this game in March and you were earning and playing and collecting them, everything you did, everything you touched is 30x now. And so if you were putting in like a couple grand just to like be a big player in this game, all of a sudden you've got like 70 grand of Axie Infinities and potions and little characters. And there was just kind of an article, a headline, like a portion of a virtual racetrack sold for like $250,000. It was some game. And so there's just tremendous opportunity to try to find these games early.
See, that's I think right there, I think you just hit on a crazy important point that I think is going to resonate with a lot of people, is that right there. Is it right now is kind of the Wild West. I mean, as much as like blockchain and cryptocurrency itself is really volatile, and you see it fluctuating, and still if you were to say a percentage of the population that is investing their money or spending time actually trying to understand that, even a fraction of that percentage is playing video games on that. You know what I mean? Like, they're spending their time like on that platform. So this is where I talk about, I think I see the value, and I see the world shifting in a way that's really interesting, where you're seeing these unique ideas and these unique like not partnerships, but like me and you talking right now. We're in our mid-30s about playing video games on a cryptocurrency blockchain platform. I mean, what the hell? And then, like, say you brought, and then, let's say Bronstein, wants to get involved with this as well with his music. He can stream his music on these platforms. And now all of a sudden it's 3 friends that have been friends for a long time, now we're helping each other grow. We each bring a unique aspect to the table, and we're creating this unique product. You see what I'm saying there? Like that. It's like kind of how my vision goes, And sure, it could be a pipe dream. I don't give a shit. A dreamer's gonna dream, right? But that's the way that I'm kind of like. That's the world that I look. That's the lens I look at the world through. I spend, I woke up at 5 today. I went to the gym. I worked out. I lifted. I ran for an hour, and then I worked all day, and then I got off my bike, and then I got out of work, and I rode my bike for another hour and 10 minutes, and then showered for like 10 minutes, and then hopped on here. All of the time outside of work, I'm spending like doing this kind of stuff because I really enjoy it, and I hope that shows, And obviously, like your life is, like, you don't work, and I know it's cliche to say, you don't work a day in your life if you love what you do, but you literally are not working because your hobby is your job. Your life is this, right? I mean, it's
been pretty cool, and I just want to keep it rolling. Like it was a lot easier with the travel because just that opened a lot more opportunity. But now the blockchain that I work for from the Hong Kong guys, I think they're kind of letting me get like heavily involved in one of these blockchain game projects. It's called NFT, is the abbreviation, stands for non-fungible token. Getting in a little in the weeds, but it's just the name. Like where Bitcoin is a fungible token, any Bitcoin can be exchanged for any other Bitcoin. But wait, what makes the Steam Monster or the Splinterland cards or the Axie Infinity collectibles so special is it's a token that is non-fungible. It's like a collectible. It's rare and unique, and that's why it has certain scarcity characteristics and holds certain value. But yeah, let's do another one of these a part tour with like some screen share, because then
for
it
sure.
will make sense.
So let me ask you this. My mind works in analogies. If I can like base my understanding in one thing and kind of draw a parallel to that helps me understand it. And I think a lot of people's brains work that way. For computer games, like if I wanted to stream, for instance, there's a great game called Truck Driver Simulator that's monstrously popular. And all it is you drive a semi, and it's not like you're doing tricks, it's not like you're doing stunts, you're actually it's all like real life physics, and you just drive a semi around, and it's massively popular. People watch the shit out of this. So, but there's a database of games that's called Steam, ironically. And so you sign up for Steam, and you have this account on Steam, and then all the games you buy through that. So I bought that game just to play it, to have fun. I bought Fall Guys. I bought a drone simulator, with a real drone. I have the simulator you can practice, through Steam. Is there a kind of like, how do you play these games? Like, how would I play?
Well, most of them are web-based. Some of them there's like an engine that you have to download and then play it that way.
That's the word I was looking for. Is Steam's an engine, so you download that, and then the games come through that, and you download them directly to your computer, and then you play.
And then those games will talk to like your Bitcoin wallet.
Gotcha. So is there like a central database where I could find these games? Like, is there like a central website, or is it just all based on?
Yeah, no, it's like there's some like kind of like premier. I mean, not really. Like the crypto news, talks about but no, it's a kind of emerging. And Steam Monsters was like the first kind of prime time one that was like functional in a way that it was the first one that was functional in a way, like traditional games.
It was cool. It's a cool game. So since I've played it, that was like.
So you're an absolute pioneer. Like no one. These games didn't even exist like before Steam Monsters.
Because I was gonna say that was probably like 2018.
No, that was like
2019. It was 2019.
Like early 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we played it, and is anything different since then, or how's it been going? Have you been paying attention to it, or have you moved on from that?
Not that close, but I want to start kind of playing it every day again, just to get into the live streaming on Twitch. But they just did like a digital land sale, and they sold like hundreds of thousands of dollars of digital land. The first one sold out in like 40 seconds.
That's wild.
And so they've got, it's like what they're doing is they're like, right now it's like rock, paper, scissors. It's like you pick your team and it just deterministically battles another team. But they're kind of adding like a build your own world component to it.
See, we could play it where like, we could have it where yours would be on the bottom left here and mine would be on the top right, so.
Yeah, we need to do that. And then like the real value that we're going to add is we'll just explore all the games and we'll play like a different game every week. And then like hopefully we can find the next one where like we're the first ones, and all of a sudden there's 1 million people that are playing it by 2022, and all of our cards are worth like 400 times what they were when we were buying.
See, I love it. So I think, okay, so this is where you're seeing the sausage get made live here. I love that idea. So I think we should do maybe a month, right? Where we pick, do you think a game a month is too much? Because I don't want to like,
we just need to start. I know what you're saying, but yeah, we just need to start with Steam Monsters, and then you'll understand it if you're actually playing with your keys and you're earning some. Maybe you'll pull like a rare card, and then we'll try to get you to. So it's going to be like an expert like coaching a newbie, but then you're going to have to learn the blockchain stuff, and I'm going to have to learn the gamer. I'm going to have to kind of become more of a gamer.
Yeah. So
it'll be like a personal challenge for both of us, but like I kind of want to get it to where. Because you've got a couple $100 in your accounts that you don't even know about. So I want to like have that be the seed, and then we'll get into these games, and like hopefully that seed literally grows into $20,000 in 2 years.
I love it. So I'm thinking like the way my mind's working right now is, we make it a feature of this stream, because I'm trying to do a different thing every day on the stream. And see what works, what doesn't, what people think is cool, what people think stupid. So like the way the setup is right now is my work, all my work stuff is over here, and then like I'm in my work chair. I had to lift it up and move it over here. But what I want to do is, because my bike is right here, so what I want to do is kind of turn the camera this way. So when I ride my bike, I could do like Wednesdays with Jenny or something like that, and Jenny just sits here and like has fun and talks with people. You know what I mean? People know that she's going to be in the stream on Wednesdays. You know what I mean? And like, ask Jenny anything, and they could ask her stupid stuff about me that she hates or whatever. And like I just want to do like bring a unique thing to the stream every day. So if we did like, Sunday blockchain games or something like that, where every Sunday we played a different blockchain game. And
let's try. Yeah, and that will help if we can do that on your channel. That'll kind of bootstrap me launching my own channel. If I'm getting in the routine of like doing that once a week, then I'll start doing my own once a week. And try to continue that on.
I think you need to prosper so we can do this in person.
Yeah, that's gonna happen this year. We got to get going in these games.
Yeah, it better. So the inside joke there is Bird is basically. I'm not going to say stuck in Buffalo, but because I love Buffalo, but it's a sad place right now. And
we got to make a political move. Everyone's losing it with their masks here.
Everyone's out of control in Buffalo, so we got a free Bird.
Yeah, free Bird. I'm taking my Bird Ave sign with me.
Do it, please do. I mean, why wouldn't you? Why would you leave it there for some stranger?
Yeah, Costa. Maybe Costa will come back.
Probably not. I don't think so. So what else? What else you got to say? The world is watching. You have everything to talk about blockchain that you can.
Well, that's about it. I think we save this for the screen share where we can dive into this stuff a little more.
Yeah, we'll name this part 1. I'll rename this, episode 17, blockchain games part 1, and we'll dive into it. We won't make that one a podcast because that'll be kind of hard to follow.
We'll just jump into the stream.
Yeah. Just because if there's the heavy visuals, people won't listen to it.
Yeah, so we'll do it on the fly. Like, I'll make sure you have your Steam password, and then
Yeah.
I'm gonna literally coach you through. Like, all right, Goldie, you've got some money on here. Like, let's get into blockchain games.
I love it. I think so. What aside from Steam like you talk about Steam Monsters and how many games do you think are out there? Like, are there
There's like dozens, but there will be hundreds.
So this, I mean, when you say this is in the infancy, like this is really, really in the infancy of it. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, and like they're like last year, like around the time I was into like early, like about a year ago, I just knew it was time for this, and like now the time's kind of arrived, but like I just knew like I should probably be paying attention to just more of the stuff. And so there's this thing called CryptoPunks where you can go to I'll close it on this. It's called, you can go to, hang on. So it's called CryptoPunks. I don't know why I can't find the right page here, but they're just little like digital art collectibles. And yeah, so it's like larva. Can you share this link with people?
Well, what I'm going to do, so this is what I do every show, is when I make the podcast and on YouTube, I do a little write-up about like the show, but then I put all the links in the show notes. So you send me all the links that you want me to put in here that we talked about, and then I'll make sure that they're in the
okay, so these are just, I wish you could see this, so we'll have to do the screen share, but they're just little like 8-bit pieces of art that like they were generated in like 2014, and there's like a limited amount of them, and it was like one of the first like crypto art projects. And it was like last year, and I was just like, it's time for this stuff. Like games and NFTs are the next wave. And so I'm like, I should start putting some money into these. And I just didn't. I didn't do it for whatever reason.
Oh, here we go. I'm looking at them right now. Yeah. This is kind of cool. Oh, see, this is what gets people all jacked up, is the 8-bit stuff, like the retro. People get really excited about that. I mean,
yeah, so you can so you see the first one there, like that guy, like for $1,700.
Yeah.
And you can actually own that art. And what I mean by own that is like you own a unique ID, and like everyone knows, because you own the private key to that unique ID, that you actually own one of the rare early CryptoPunks. And like it's as real as it's owning like a Van Gogh. It's like you really own that piece of art, and it's digitally scarce. And so these were like $20-$30 at the beginning of 2019, when I was like, it's time for art and games. Like now the time's kind of arrived, and we're about to see the huge explosion. But this was the pre-explosion, the move. Like these were 20, 30, 40, $50, and now like it's hard to find one for under $2,000. And we'll see these go to $10,000. Like you won't be able to buy at the end of the next bubble, you won't be able to buy a CryptoPunk for under $10,000, because it's proof of being early. And there's just incredible like value being projected on this stuff.
That's wild. That's really cool.
So what if you could have put, I mean, I could have got one for 50. So what, like $2,000? So like a 40, yeah, it's like 30, 40x is the typical. If you're the early guy, then it's really easy to 30 or 40x anything.
That's wild. Yeah, I'm all in. I mean, obviously, I'm all in because we've, played together before, but I'm totally gonna get into this. I think we should do so I lost you visually because I clicked something, but yeah, I'm thinking Sunday blockchain or something like that, where we pick what we want to play, and we should pick it at the end of every stream. We kind of like scroll through a catalog or like see what's out there, and then kind of vote on it together. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, that sounds cool. I mean, we'll probably do Steam Monsters for the first kind of little bit just to get it going. But yeah, there's other ones we can get into.
Yeah, I like that, definitely. All right,
sweet.
All right, it's a deal. Whoa, now you're giant. I was playing around with you. All right. Well, I think this was pretty cool, man. I think people definitely have a. Listen, man. We can always say "told you so," right? Like 5 years down the road, we can be like, "Hey, go back to episode 17 of the Go for the Goldie podcast, and we had Bird on, D-Tube friggin' legend." And yeah, they can all suck it.
Look at me.
All right, man. Well, always a pleasure. We'll set up the next one. You send me those links. I'll get them in the show notes, and we'll get the links out there and start spreading the word about this stuff. All right.
All right, looking forward to it. Now we're gonna be all warmed up for our conspiracy facts podcast.
Okay. Well, the cat is out of the bag, folks. We are also going to be doing a little conspiracy talk. We got to figure that out, but we're going to be talking about some lesser known conspiracies. We're going to be bringing facts to the table, and we always have to refer to the facts. We don't get too crazy, and we got some good ideas brewing. So that's keep your eye. This just like the blockchains, my podcast is evolving as well and into some crazy stuff, but should be fun. We're here to entertain and make you laugh. So, all right, Bird, you hold it down in Buffalo. We'll see you down in Prosper.
All right, prosper and prosper, baby. Signing off.
Love you, buddy. See ya.
Love you too. Bye. All right, how we do?